Well, welcome to session number 2. Just checking in with you to see how's it going this week. Did you get into the swing of things? Did you enjoy the tapping? Did you have fun? That's the main thing. I want to know how things are going. So please remember to drop me a line. Even if you don't have questions or concerns, just let me know how it's going and, give me little information, little insight as to what's happening with you. It's all about experiencing and making progress, and I won't know what's going on if you don't let me know. So, just kind of like recap, just to remind you that you need to be doing this 6 days a week. Once a day is great. Twice a day is really good. 3 times if you have the time to invest. If you can do it 3 times a day, you're going to find stuff popping out like crazy. But it's a little bit of a discipline and a commitment. But at least if you're doing it once a day, you're going to get the results that you want. So, how's the tapping going? Are you finding it energizing? Are you finding consistency? Most people actually find it gets stronger the more you do it, the more frequent you do it. And, you can take the words along with you. Once you get comfortable with the procedure, you can print out the words. I don't remember if I put them on the page where you can copy them down, but if I didn't, for session 1, just send me an email and I'll send you the phrases. This particular week and from now on, it's going to be part of your homework. So it'll be in an email that comes to you and you can print it out and take it with you, because you can do the tapping anywhere. And especially as we get into some of the other tapping, you're going to find it's really good to have it available when you get into those situations where you want to just maybe slap somebody. Or if you get into a challenging situation where you've got to do something that's uncomfortable, maybe make a presentation or talk to a client, and you may need a boost of confidence. We're going to do a session on confidence next week. So anyway, getting back to this week's session, just make sure I just want to mention though, make sure you do your tapping. It's the most critical part of all of this. Simply because it's what helps the clearing and helps get your body energy flowing correctly, and a lot of spiritual stuff goes on inside that is in addition to all the affirmations, the visualizations and everything. But I told you when we started that there was something special about this, and the tapping is what makes the difference. Now, with the practice being, every 6 days a week, I know some of you are busy and sometimes you may have problems with that, so don't beat yourself up. This is not about consequences and punishments. If you find you miss a day, don't worry about it. Get back on track and start, pick up where you left off. It's more about the commitment and establishing consistency, and, when you fall off the wagon, get back on it. Don't wait. Don't go through drama. This is not what this is about. It's about benefits, not consequences. But anyway, and also remember, if you get stuck or need some help or some inspiration, or you find some things are coming up that you're not quite sure about, please drop me a line. Email me at talkwithlyn, that's TALKWITHLYN @gmail.com. That's the special email I've set up as a support email. So when I see that come through, I immediately take a look at it, because I know it's coming from one of you. Anyway, so welcome to week 2. We're moving on. Things should be happening by now, and you should be really beginning to feel the energy shifts. And for some people, the shifts could be significant. You may be getting those aha moments, and I'm certainly hoping you are. But you may be just feeling lighter, maybe sleeping better, more patience and less stress and worry. And again, those aha moments, they'll start to come, and they may come when you're in the shower. One of the things I used to think about creating was a shower board where you could have a grease pen and be able to write down your ideas. I don't know about you, but I used to get such great ideas in the shower, and here I am all soaked up and wet and couldn't get out and write it down, so I'd have to kind of try to remember what it was. So since I haven't created the grease board yet, you can leave a pencil and paper or your journal in the bathroom with you. Make it a little steamed up. But anyway, if you get those aha moments when you're in the shower, do your very best to try to write them down, especially if there are notes and ideas about something you're trying to do or a question you have, because you don't want to lose it. If you don't write it down, you won't remember it. Don't trust your memory. It's not what you think it is. Anyway, some of you may also be noticing your relationships with other people are improving. Maybe you're getting along better with your kids, or maybe they seem more well behaved. Maybe your partner is not as irritating, or maybe you're having more patience with them. All of these things are results of the tapping and the clearing and the progress you're making. So, as we're doing all of this stuff, we may be talking about the law of attraction and attracting what you want and making money and all of these material things, but there's a ton of side benefits that are going to come out of this as well. But whatever the case, just take notice for now and make notes so you can track your progress. I also want you to start keeping a journal, whether it's on the computer, on your iPod, your iPad, or just a pencil and paper. Whatever you do, keep a journal. It'll be very helpful, and keep it with you so you can make notes throughout the day. Some of these things that are going to come up for you are definitely going to be important. They not only will help you to know where you are, but they will help you to monitor your progress, so that over the weeks as you move along, you can go back and read some of these thoughts and emotions and experiences and see how far you've come. Sometimes you'll be surprised at just how much progress you've made. So, keep a journal during the week of the things I want you to pay particular attention to are your feelings, your experiences, any aha moments for sure. Emotional responses like sensitivities to things that you weren't aware of before. Awareness, anything that starts, when you start becoming more aware of your speaking or things that are happening around you, particularly when you're getting intuitive inspiration. Also improvements, where things are getting better, like I said, sleeping better, feeling better, improved health, whatever. Shifts in perspective. You used to think one way about something or feel one way about something, and now you've changed. You realize there's movement. Relationships again, here. How are they improving? How are they shifting and changing? What are you feeling about your relationships? Has someone new showed up in your life, Also, your responses to situations. If things used to irritate you and now you find out then they're not so irritating anymore, or frighten you and now you have more confidence, or you feel encouraged or inspired, these are important. Also, how you respond to other people and changes in how they are responding to you. Now, that's a really big one. If you notice that, where people used to be short-tempered or irritated about you, or people tell you, wow, something's changed about you. You look lighter, you look better, you're different. And particularly if you start losing weight, because sometimes that'll happen with this too. And then unexpected gifts and opportunities showing up. You may find, especially as we're getting into the real mix of this, that people will start giving you things, or things will start showing up in your life, or people will call you or send you emails with opportunities and offerings. All of these things are part of you having this energetic shift where now you are attracting the things to you that you want, and things are really starting to happen. So keep this journal with you all the time. And you might also want to keep the journal, or maybe just a pad of paper and a pen or pencil by your bed, because as you're doing this and going through the process, you're going to start having dreams. And a lot of times questions will get answered in your dreams. You'll get inspired ideas. You may even wake up in the middle of the night with this, something you've been struggling with for the longest, and suddenly here's the answer, and here you are, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, keep a flashlight by the bed too, a little flashlight that doesn't give off so much light, because you definitely want to write down anything that comes to you in the middle of the night, because if you try to remember it and you go back to sleep, it'll be like it never happened. You won't have a clue. All you'll know is, oh, there was something I thought of that was really important, and now no matter how hard you try, it's gone. So write these things down. And if you use a flashlight instead of turning on the light, what you don't want to do is flood your room with light. That kills the serotonin in your mind, which will make it harder to go back to sleep. And if you have a partner, they're going to hate you because they're going to be up too. But a flashlight, and especially be careful not to shine it in your eyes, a flashlight will give you enough light to write down, but it won't flood the room, and you should be able to fall back to sleep. And if you find yourself up in the middle of the night and you are having a hard time go back to sleep, try meditation. Now we're going to in the homework I'm going to send you is going to contain a link to a site that I recommend that you go to and buy a guided meditation tape, because when you're new to meditation, sometimes it's hard to do, and it does take several weeks of getting used to it before you really settle into it. But anyway, I found that when I wake up in the middle of the night, sometimes I can't go back to sleep. If I put in a guided meditation tape, it puts me back to sleep. But if you don't have a guided meditation, whatever meditation practice you do have, use it. It'll help you get back to sleep a lot faster. Another thing, if you don't have or don't want to use a pad and paper to write down, you can use a handheld recorder and just speak into the recorder what you want to note, enough information so that you can remember. And whatever notes you write down, it can be really brief descriptions. Just write down enough details so it will help you recall the information in the morning. Okay. Now, last week we focused on the principles of the law of attraction, how it works and how we can connect to this energy. We talked about our emotional guidance system and how important it is to monitor our emotions and take steps to raise our emotional vibrations whenever we can. Our goal is to raise them to a vibrational level or frequency of contentment or above. Now, in the description of last week's video, on YouTube, I posted some information about that, about how the chart that shows the various emotional levels and their frequencies. And contentment was item number 7 of, I think there were 22 emotional frequencies from 1 to 22, 1 to 7 being the highest vibrational energies, and then the remaining 15 are the lower ones where you're trying to get out of. So whatever it is you're doing, whatever event or experience or circumstance arises that makes your energy drop, as soon as you feel it dropping, do some exercises or activities to bring it back up. And there are several things we'll talk about later that you can do to help bring that up. And as you get into this, you'll find other things that work for you that will allow you to raise that energy right back up. And in fact, you'll find over time you won't drop as low, even when really bad things happen. You just don't get that emotionally discharged. You find that your energy levels out. And, as you practice more, it levels out higher and higher to eventually you get to the point where you don't feel negative energy hardly at all. And, that's a great place to be, but it really, and it takes some practice, but, a lot of people are that way. I mean, everybody has down moments, but you don't stay there for days. You may get down for a few minutes or an hour or so, but you get over it and you get back up, and you can raise the frequency back up, and the faster you can bring it back up, the better. It's all about practice. Now, this week we'll be addressing breaking the blocks and resistance to having more money, happiness, and joy and love in your life. We're going to discuss the power of 3, not in a lot of detail, but just to give you an idea of what I mean by the power of 3 and what it really is. It's the number 3, which is a prime number. It's the completion number. Number 1 is the beginning. It's like step 1 in a process where you get an idea, a thought, or begin an action. Number 2 is the step where things start to come together. Maybe you're seeking assistance or bringing people together to move to the next step. But when you get to step number 3, you've got enough energy and momentum to start making things happen. And there's a synergistic presence or power in the number 3, and I'll talk a little bit about what that is and how it appears everywhere in our lives, always has, but we have never really been taught to pay attention to it, and we don't recognize what it means. But once I bring up some of the suggestions and kind of bring it to your attention, you're going to notice it and you're going to see it, and you'll start to recognize it and start to use it, and you can use it in every area of your life. And it really helps to energize your law of attraction practices. I kind of discovered that by accident. I think it was really an intuitive insight that came to me, but when I started using it, boy, did things start to shift. We'll also cover changing your behavioral habits, like being aware of sabotaging thoughts and using language that compromises your energy or shifts your ability to focus, and when you're putting yourself down. That's really important. And there will be some homework. Yep, homework. You weren't getting out that easy. This is the process of learning. They're classes, they're trainings, and I have things for you to do to really accelerate this process. And this is only 90 days, and this is an intensive practice. Some people have a greater shift to make than others, so I'm going to put you through this. I told you this was content rich and it would be worth every penny. You thought I was kidding? Nope, baby, I'm going to make you work for it. Anyway, it'll be fun stuff. It's not heavy stuff. It's fun stuff. It's easy stuff. It's things that you should be doing anyway, because these are some of the practices that the successful, wealthy people we see every day that we wish we could be like. These are the things that they're doing. So I'm just bringing you back to center. one of the assignments is going to be helping you get back to dreaming and setting goals and learning to daydream. I think one of the practices of daydreaming is not this. I think it's session 4 where I'm really going to take you through some exercises of daydreaming, and that's going to be fun too. But for now, let's just get started on this week. Before we get started, and this is something I'm going to be doing with each session from now on, and that is to set our intention and center us. So if you just take a few minutes, kind of close your eyes, sit back in your chair, put your feet flat on the floor, and I'll talk about that in another session too, about grounding yourself and keeping your feet flat on the floor, especially when you're doing your affirmations and your EFT whenever possible. That's another whole topic. I'm not going to take the time to go into it now, but it's another critical part of centering and grounding your energy, because as we are on planet Earth and we bring our energy of desire and thought through our spiritual presence into our bodies, in order for it to take form, it has to process through us, and everything here on earth is made of the material of earth stuff. So there's a way to connect all that energy, because that's in some cases why some of us have a hard time with the law of attraction and a hard time manifesting. It's because there's a disconnect. But like I said, that's another discussion, another lesson. For right now, just close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, and while I state our intention and set our energy, I just want you to relax and listen. So 3 inhales and 3 exhales. Let's go like now. Inhale and exhale, and inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale and just exhale. And let it all go. Honoring the one great spirit that is all there is, we come together to recognize that we are all part of spirit and that we are all one. The energy flows in, around, and through us, and is indeed what we and everything in this universe is made of. As we open to this presence, we allow ourselves to connect with each other in love, light, and success. Our intention is to express the spirit within us to the highest and best of our abilities, and to experience this blessed life to the fullest, living in and having prosperity, abundance, health, wealth, success, security, joy, and love. We thank you for this divine blessing and gift of your presence, and so it is. Now just open your eyes and let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is quickly review some of the basics for last week. I kind of want to go through and clarify in case there was any misunderstandings, and kind of make sure that you understand what you're doing, because some of these practices are going to continue for the entire 12 weeks. Now, every thought is an affirmation of desire, but it's an inactive energy until you hold it for 27 seconds, which then energizes or activates it. That's that fail-safe mechanism that Spirit put within us, so that not everything we think pops out into form. Imagine what it would be like with some of that stuff going around in our heads. And when you speak it out loud, you give it life, and it activates immediately. So this is another reason why I want to go into this behavioral shift information about guarding your words and watching. Your thoughts are one thing, but guarding your words are especially important, because power is in the spoken word. I mean, you just look at the example of what happens, what you feel, or what another person feels when you say, I love you, versus I hate you. That energy, and even though I know I could feel that even now, and I know you could too. So it's very important to recognize the power in the spoken word. Our voice is our creative power. Every word we speak either initiates the creation of what we want or what we don't want. And when we are creating, we give our ideas, dreams, and visions life by speaking them into the law of attraction. Now, this law is the substance, what some people are calling the matrix around us, and that law is the vibrational frequency, because words, that's what we feel when we speak words. And when we speak it out into the spiritual substance of creation around us, That's the law of attraction. And so the words we speak into this place, into this space, is what starts to bring things to us, like it or not. That's why I say sometimes, are you working it versus it working you? This is also why it's easier to get what we want when we vocalize it and share our ideas with those who support us. Conversely, we should not share our dreams, desires, and ideas with those who don't support us, because their negativity will be like pouring water on a campfire, and we want to stoke the fire of your desire, not drown it. Also, staying focused and continuing to speak your word gives energy, keeps your energy flowing out into the law like a beacon, so that what we want can come to us, can find us. It's kind of like the light from a lighthouse, which helps guide ships safely into harbor. So let's begin. First, we're going to talk about the power of 3. Need to talk about that and get it kind of clear in your mind. It's not a complicated concept. It's just a matter of recognizing that power of the number 3 and what it means. You get 3 people together, you can do anything. One person alone is, it's quite a struggle. 2 people, it can still be a struggle. But if you get 3 people, you can pretty much do anything. And more than 3, well, you'll see, it magnifies the power exponentially. Now, I bring up the power of 3 because there is a magical quality to this prime number. It's even said that the great scientist and inventor Nikola Tesla, which a lot of you probably have heard of, and if you haven't, look up his name. It's Nikolatesla, Tesla. If you look him up, he's a phenomenal inventor and scientist. We hear a lot about Einstein, and not as much about him, but he was magnificent, and some of his creations are around us and we don't even know it. But anyway, it's said that he became obsessed with the number 3 at some time in his career, to the point where he'd do almost everything 3 times. He'd walk around the block 3 times, he'd shake hands 3 times, repeat everything he said 3 times. Now, it could have been just some kind of compulsive behavior, because he was such a genius. We don't know whether he was slipping over into insanity sometime or not, but it could be that he knew a secret. And we know that because of his fantastic and incredible inventions, he did know something everybody else didn't know. There's even some belief that he may have created an energy weapon. One that, according to Jesse Ventura, really does exist, that our government really does have this energy weapon where they have the power to destroy a city. And it doesn't take a bomb. It's this energy magnifier that Tesla created. But that's another whole thing. Anyway, whatever the case, it seemed to empower Tesla to make some incredible discoveries and create some wonderful inventions. And whatever, madness or not, it's still very true. And the power of 3 is very real. Now, it's also believed that the powers of 3 entities, when combined, not only increases their power, but it increases it exponentially. So that's, instead of just having 1, 2, and 3, you get 1, 2, 3, which could mean 6 or 9 or whatever. Many modern concepts in philosophy and mathematics and physics, whatever, are still very much based on the power of the number 3. And then there are the historical and mystical or mythical beliefs in the number 3. The Greeks used the number 3 a lot. There were the 3 fates, the 3 graces, the 3 gorgons, and the 3 furies. Even Apollo's Pythia sat on a tripod, and the guardian to the gates of Hades, the dog Cerberus, he had 3 heads. Multiples of 3 also seem to be used in other examples, such as the 9 muses, that's 3 times 3, and the 12 Olympian gods, that's 4 times 3. And then there's the Holy Trinity, and all of us know about that, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And there's us. We're comprised of the body, mind, and the soul. And in God, in spirit, the universe, whatever you want to call it, there are the 3 attributes of omniscience, omnipresence, and omnipotence. And they're the 3 great divisions of time: the past, the present, and the future. And we currently live in the 3rd dimension, which is length, width, and breadth. So here on this plane of existence, the power of 3, the number 3, is everywhere. Even in the in forms we see around us. We know that the triangle is the most stable and powerful shape there is. Now we know we have pyramids, but pyramids are shaped with the two sides and a flat bottom, and we call them pyramids because they actually have four planes. Well, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, four planes to a pyramid, but it's the most stable form we know, the triangle. And, very often when we meditate or do physical exercise, you'll hear the guide or the instructor say after you get through, take 3 deep breaths. And I've noticed that when I do that, I can take 1 breath and it feels good, but it doesn't do the same as when I take 3, which is why I always have you take 3 breaths. When I do, you get this sense of calm and energy at the same time, and it just seems to send the energy all through your body, just reverberating for a time after you do it. And after I exercise or do something strenuous, if I take 3 deep breaths, it seems to bring my breathing back down to normal much faster than if I don't. When I first started working on these practices, I automatically started doing these things in sets of 3. And at first it didn't strike me, but then I started thinking, wow, things are starting to happen. So, like I said before, I kind of think it was an intuitive action that just came to me. Like I said, you're going to get these aha moments. And I noticed that because it seemed to energize my affirmations and statements of intention, things just started happening faster. So now I do it as a matter of practice, conscious practice. I don't know why it works. I don't know why it empowers. I just know that it works. And at this point in time, that's all we care about, that it works. So I advise you to do your work in sets of 3 as well and see how it works for you. I want you to energize and maximize your success. And every tool I can give you, every bit of knowledge I can give you, that's what I'm doing. So let's talk about changing your current behavior and belief systems about yourself. It's very critical that we start with this because this is going to be one of the habits I want to shift immediately, because your words are prayers. They're power. They have meaning. They take form. And, all this work that we're doing is not going to mean much if you are sabotaging yourself with your thoughts and your belief systems. So one of the first things we need to know about working with the law of attraction is that it works on the energy of our thoughts and our words, our thoughts about ourselves, and our environment, not just what we want, but all of that. Every thought you have sends out an energy vibration. Every feeling you have sends out an energy vibration. So to use the law correctly and efficiently and have it bring to us that which we really want, we need to be cautious of our thoughts, cautious and aware of our thoughts and words, especially when it comes to what and how we speak, think, and feel about ourselves. Every word you speak is like a prayer. It affects how you feel about yourself and the energy field around you. And if your words are positive and supportive, you create a positive, supportive energy that creates the kind of surroundings you desire and brings the things you want to you. If you speak carelessly, the energy around you will become inconsistent and unpredictable. And likewise, what shows up in your life will be inconsistent and unpredictable. And I think you've had enough of that already. You get the drift of what I'm saying. So I don't have to prove that point. You already have enough evidence that that's true. One of the biggest secrets about the law of attraction is consistency. Now, this is something I was talking about when I did the free preview, the mini coaching, the introduction. I talked about one of the secrets is consistency. And when I say consistency, I mean doing it every day. It's like brushing your teeth. Once your practice of the law of attraction principles and affirmations and visualization activities become part of your second nature, something you do every day without really thinking about it because you know it's necessary, then you find that your manifestation ability of bringing what you want into your life and creating the life that you want becomes consistent instead of having all these ups and downs and starts and stops and ins and outs. Because basically what we are experiencing right now is the inconsistent use of the law. That's why we get stuff we want and a lot of what we don't. And then we start practicing and things start getting better and then we stop. And then I went through that for a long time, several years before I went, oh, now I know what's wrong. I'm not being consistent. One of my mentors, Carol Tuttle, who I'll talk about in another session, she does a lot of chakra work. She calls it your energy hygiene. You have to be committed to do the work every day, and you need to be aware of what it does. Now, it doesn't mean you have to go through the whole exercises, the number of exercises I'm giving you here, because this is to get you going, to get you built up and shifted. But once you become good at it and comfortable at it, you can either space out the practices through the day. There's some things you should do first thing in the morning, like brushing your teeth or taking a shower, but it becomes a matter of practice and continuity once you establish the energy. But right now, it's important to do the whole thing because we want to get you got to get you cleaned out, cleared out, cleaned up, and energized and doing the right thing. So consistency is the key. It truly is like the key to opening the door. And that's why I have you doing these practices 6 days a week. I'm giving you one day off because a lot of people have a day of service, going to church or some other practice that they do. And that's okay because that serves as a spiritual inspiration as well. If you go to church on Sunday, you generally come out pretty inspired or pretty spiritual. So whatever day of the week your Sunday is, you can substitute that for your affirmation work. And then make sure that you do that, though. Do something, whatever it is. We want you to make sure that you stay on track. Now, let's start with the basics. Monitoring your thoughts, words, and your reactions, because your reactions also have a lot to do with the energy you're giving off. And we are responsible for our reactions. Responsible. In other words, it's up to us how we react to something in our environment, something somebody says to us or that happens. We can choose to be calm and deal with it, intelligently or from an aware space, or we can become reactionary and let everybody be pulling our strings like we're puppets and jumping us around. And every time something happens we don't like, we go off and all this stuff, and that keeps spewing poison and toxic energy into our environment, and then we wonder why things don't work. So we have to watch our reactions because all of that energy, and it's strong energy. When you're mad or irritated or yelling and screaming, you can feel the energy shift, and so can everybody else. So it's important to start rethinking and retraining you to think, behave, and react differently. Be conscious of the words you use and their energy vibrations. For instance, this week I want you to try exchanging a few words, sentences, and behaviors and see what happens. Try exchanging the word eager, E-A-G-E-R, for the word anxious. Like you say, I'm so anxious for this to happen. How about I'm so eager for this to happen? Can't you feel the energy shift right there? This is something a friend of mine told me several years ago, and I've gotten to the point where I don't even like to use the word anxious because it makes me feel anxious. But eager gives you this sense of anticipation. It's positive. It's inviting. It's in anticipation. And see how different these feel when you use them in your daily conversations. Pretty soon you'll be so aware of it you won't even want to use the other word either. The other word, that A word. And when you're doing this, as you're going through this conscious practice of word substitution, I want you to make notes in your journals of what happens with you energetically and how it shifts over time. This way you can kind of start to monitor your progress. The next thing I want you to do is when you find yourself doing what I call spiritual terrorism on yourself by saying things like, I'm so stupid, or I'm just not good enough, or I don't know, that's beating yourself up. And like I said, this is not about consequences, this is about benefits. So when you start saying things like that where you're putting yourself down or demeaning yourself or devaluing yourself, I want you to immediately stop and say, I neutralize those words. I know that's not true of me. And then I want you to say, if you're saying, I know I'm so stupid, I want you to say, I know I am smart. I know I am smart. I am capable. And one that I really love is, I am more than good enough. I am way more than good enough. Because you are. Everybody on this planet is an equal. The only difference is some of us express our abilities and talents differently, some more than others. Some of us are afraid of expressing our abilities and talents because it makes us stand out, makes us powerful. But, we'll work on that. We're good to all that. But mostly, I want you to become conscious of your self-talk and what you say and think, and to neutralize those words, because simply saying, I neutralize those thoughts or I neutralize those words does just that. It cancels them out, and then you replace them with something positive. You're inserting a positive replacement for that space where you just neutralize those original words. And, nature abhors a vacuum, so when you clean something out, you need to replace it with something else, or it can suck it back in. True statement. Now, one of the things, I'm not a real Joel Osteen fan. I don't watch his shows on a regular basis, but I'm beginning to become more and more aware of who he is, and I'm kind of learning to appreciate some of his teachings. And I really started looking at him, or like one of the things I want to say is, be aware of people in your environment and people that come to you with messages. Sometimes we tend to eliminate or exclude people who don't really have the same philosophy, or maybe behave differently than we think. But everybody has some truth in them. There's truth to be brought to you. Sometimes people show up just to speak something that makes you go, oh yeah, or bring this gem of wisdom, this pearl of wisdom to you. And I was watching TV one day, and Oprah kind of made that same statement about Joel Osteen making this statement that caught her awareness, and it caught her attention so much so that she invited him on her Oprah's Life Classes show. Now, I don't think he had ever appeared on her show at all during the 25 years she was on TV, but it was profound enough for her to have him as a guest on this show. And if you want to watch that particular program, I believe you can find it on the OWN network website. Anyway, what he said was, to paraphrase, was, whatever words you say that follow the words I am will follow you. Whatever words you say following the words I am will follow you. So, I am, people don't realize, and you may not realize, that I am is the powerful spiritual declaration of who and what you are. They are a spiritual declaration, and they carry the creative spirit of energy. The great I am. That's one of the ways we know and call God or spirit or the universe. We honor the great I am presence within all of us whenever we say I am. So when you're saying those words, or as we say I'm, it's the same thing. But saying the words I am give it even more power. So when we say I am this or I am that, we are spiritually declaring and establishing that within ourselves. And the universe can't help but respond to that. So we need to make sure what words we use after we make the statement I am, and that we honor the energy and the creative power that brings to us. So take care when you invoke those powerful words, because they will define who you are and who you become. Because as you speak your word, you are drawn into that reality. Another shift I want you to practice is regarding your money consciousness. So instead of when something comes up and you want it or need it or want to buy it and you don't have the money, or the money's not in your life, instead of saying I don't have the money, which suggests and affirms lack and limitation, I want you to try saying, I have to find the money for that. Now, you may not have a clue as to where the money's coming from, but just by saying, I have to find the money for that, what you're implying and suggesting to your subconscious is that I have the money somewhere. I just have to go find it. And when you have that money somewhere and you state that you just need to go find it, what that establishes is that it's somewhere in your reality, in your realm of possibility. And so then when you start thinking about it, it can show up as one of those unexpected gifts or opportunities that you didn't know was on the way to you. And lastly, the other word I want you to start using is thrive instead of survive, or thriving instead of surviving. And very often people will say, especially when you're having a hard day or things have been hard for a long time, it's this very, very common for us to say, and I used to say this too, and still I changed it several years ago, and it did make a difference. Somebody will say, oh, how are you doing? Oh, I'm just surviving. I'm just trying to survive, and what that implies is that you're in survival mode. You're in lack and limitation mode. You're in the mode of not enough, of scarcity, of all of that stuff where you don't have what you need. But if you say, I'm thriving, even if you aren't, it's like saying all is well. You don't have to, tell the story of all the issues or things that are going wrong, but you're thriving because you're still alive, your heart's still beating, you are thriving. We're not, especially in this country, we're not in a place where we're starving or we are experiencing all of this, negative energy and what have you. Regardless as to how bad things are, we still are thriving, and we always have the opportunity to do better when when we get into a place where we can see what that opportunity is and are able to embrace it. So instead of saying I'm just surviving, say I'm thriving. How are you? It's a matter of languaging, and the words we choose create who we are. So we want to make sure that we understand that when you say I'm thriving enough times, you'll start to recognize that you are. Because remember, whatever you speak into the law, when you speak it often enough and long enough, it must come into being. Okay? So those are some behavior patterns I want you to start shifting and become more aware of what you say and what you think. Now here are a few other things I want you to keep in mind as we're going through these sessions each week. It takes time to rewire your brain, so please be patient with the process. Reprogramming your thinking, again, it takes time. Be patient with yourself and gentle with yourself. You didn't get to this place overnight, and you're not going to get out of this place overnight. And some things will happen quicker than others, but just be gentle and loving with yourself as you transition forward and honor those feelings when they come up. It takes at least 3 weeks to form new habits and set them in, and even then sometimes you can backslide into old behavior. So just, make sure that as you are going through these processes, you're, like I said, patient and gentle. Allow yourself to grow and transition and get used to these new behaviors. As you put these new ideas into practice, it'll require conscious effort to start with, but over time they will become part of your normal behavior and thinking, and eventually they will become who you are, and you'll find yourself automatically doing it without thinking. But if you find yourself slipping back into old habits and thoughts and patterns, just gently guide yourself back to your new patterns and honor whatever feelings come up with that, guilt or remorse or whatever. Honor it. Say, I honor those feelings. I recognize it. I bless it, release it, and let it go. It's part of the process, and this is about benefits, not consequences. Now here are 4 manifesting tips I want you to start to use. This is helping to establish your different thinking, different behavior, and self-discipline. At the start of each day, we're going to do some activities to set our intention. And, your intention may simply be to see everyone happy and accomplishing what they desire, and that's including yourself. I do have an intention setting affirmation I'm going to give you, because it's setting your intention to know that the universe is your abundant supplier, your source and supply, and that whatever you need, want, and desire indeed does come from the universe through Mother Earth. But your intention is to know that the universe provides for you, that universe is your source. And before any important call or meeting or event, so that you can create the very best win-win environment or energy for everyone, and fun, of course, the very and highest and best outcome, I want you to start using something I call the highest and best affirmation, and you will repeat it 3 times. And basically it just says, it is my intention that my perfect business partners, clients, and opportunities be given to me, and that we enjoy harmonious, joyful, prosperous, and successful relationships that are mutually beneficial to us, and that we share those benefits with others. Now that's in your homework. It'll be in the information that I am sending you, or that was sent to you with the confirmation email you got when you bought this session. Or if you bought the entire package, it'll be in there. But the third step is, whenever you're feeling that you've lost focus in your life, or you need to reset your goals and feel inspired again, do an energy lifting exercise. It could be one of the EFT sessions you particularly enjoy, especially the one that's in the free program, the free session, the one of expecting a miracle. But it could be any of them, whatever you need to lift your energy. It can be the affirmations, visualizations, daydreaming about one of your goals, listening to inspirational music or video, whatever it takes. Find whatever lifts your spirit the fastest and do that. And you should have several, because some will be inconvenient. Like if you rely on a video, you may not have access to it at the time. So, put those tools in your toolbox and keep them with you. And at the end of each day, make a list of the main tasks you want to accomplish for the next day. This helps to set your intention, also keeps you on target. And make sure your list includes your energy hygiene activities, and make it task number 1. We want to get that done, like taking your shower and brushing your teeth. We want to do that first, so that we can set the energy for the day and set your intention and get off on the right foot. And remember, establishing consistency is important, and this is one of the ways you're going to do that. Now, this week's homework will be in the email confirmation, as I mentioned, so you can refer to it, print it out if you need to, keep it with you, especially if you are wanting to do some of the EFT sessions when you're on the go. And after you've been doing this a while, you kind of learn to write your even write your own EFT affirmations. It basically it doesn't require any kind of skill. It basically just means you want to set some intentions and bring your attention to the issue you're dealing with. So now that we've been through all of this, we've kind of gone through the content, the teaching part of the this week's session. Let's get into some practice. We're going to do some EFT. Now, the one we're going to work on tonight, I mentioned before, it's about money, because while we're working with the law of attraction to bring all this wonderful stuff in our lives, the truth of the matter is we need money. I mean, some people say, oh, money, well, let me tell you something. One of the things we're going to do with the 6 weeks is I want to heal and shift your relationship, your energy around money. Why? Because with a lot of people, especially women, we're uncomfortable when it comes to talking about money or asking for money. And that's unfortunate, because money is a very essential element of our lives. When we have an uncomfortable relationship with it or belief system about it, we actually repel and sabotage our ability to have it and or keep it. I mean, think about it. When you don't like something or the thought of something makes you cringe, you will consciously or unconsciously do whatever it takes to keep it out of your life. Yeah. Aha! And as women, we've been taught that money is evil, dirty, will corrupt us, will damn us to hell, all these wonderful things that our ancestors have taught us, and we got to get that stuff out of our brains and out of our spirits and belief systems, and we're going to work on that a lot. We may even have been told it's a man's concern. You're a woman. It's not feminine. But the truth is, more and more women are breadwinners and heads of households these days. And money is a necessary component of our ability to provide for ourselves and our families. And as business owners, it's even more important. We have to be comfortable about asking for the money in exchange for our services and products. And this is where many women fail, because we get stuck or we're afraid to ask for the check. Another issue is that we may be devaluing ourselves by feeling like we're not worth the amounts of money we know we should be asking for our services and products. Either way, we end up losing. So we're going to work a lot on those belief systems and that energy. And since the series is about the law of attraction and making it work for you, and that means attracting what we want into our lives, more love, health, happiness, success, whatever, we have to know that asking for and having money flow through our lives in sufficient amounts is critical to having all of the other things we want as well, because it's a component of our ability to be joyful, to be in integrity, to be comfortable, and to be vibrating at the proper frequencies. Love, health, joy, success, and all of that other stuff, they're all part of our prosperity, but none of those things are acceptable currency when it comes to paying bills and buying food. So let's get doing some EFT. This one's a short one, and it's working directly on our money concept and our ability to create opportunities in our lives to bring more money in. It's a short one, so what I'm going to ask you to do is this one you're going to repeat 3 times. Just simply so that we can get it done, get into the practice of being a little bit more comfortable with money. So for the money concept, the money EFT practice, we're going to start with the karate chop. And this is setting our attention. And what we're going to say here is, even though I have this uncomfortable feeling about money, I'm just going to honor those feelings. And even though I've been told some crazy things about money, and maybe even my parents had problems with money, I'm just going to honor that too. And I'm deeply and completely loving and accepting myself. And so now we're going to stop with the eyebrow point, and what we're going to say is, I am always in the right place. Side of the eye. At the right time. Under the eye. Meeting the right people. meeting the right people under the nose, being offered the best opportunities, being offered the best opportunities. Chin, I am grateful for everything I have. I am grateful for everything I have. Collarbone with your hands. And everything I receive. And everything I receive. Top of the head. I receive unexpected checks in the mail. I receive unexpected checks in the mail. Eyebrow point. I have more than enough money. I have more than enough money. Side of the eye. For everything I want, need, and desire. For everything I want, need, and desire. Under the eye. Money flows to me effortlessly. Money flows to me effortlessly. Under the nose. I have my dream home. I have my dream home. On the chin. I have my dream car. I have my dream car. Collarbone. And I enjoy all the luxuries in the world. I enjoy all the luxuries in the world. Top of the head. And on my bed of roses, and on my bed of roses, eyebrow point, resources are abundant all around me. Resources are abundant all around me. Side of the eye. I attract money like a magnet. I attract money like a magnet. Under the eye. It's my birthright. It's my birthright. Under the nose. And I claim it now. And I claim it now. Chin. It's there whenever I want it. It's there whenever I want it. Collarbone. And I am generous with my money. And I am generous with my money. Top of the head. I am giving. I am giving. Eyebrow. I receive unexpected gifts. I receive unexpected gifts. Side of the eye. I have everything I need. I have everything I need. Under the eye. I have everything I want. I have everything I want. And under the nose. I have everything I desire. I have everything I desire. On the chin. I am completely content. I am completely content. Collarbone. I believe it. I believe it. Top of the head. I accept it. I accept it. Top of the head again. And I let it be so. And I let it be so. Now I'm adding something new. This time I want you to take your fingers and tap on your wrists. And say, make it so. Thank you, Spirit. And so it is. Make it so. Thank you, Spirit. And so it is. Okay? Now, do our inhales and exhales 3 times. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more time. Inhale. Deep as you can. And exhale. And just let that sit with you for a few minutes. Feel the energy flowing through you, through your feet, down into the earth, into the center of Mother Earth, and then back up through your feet into your body, flowing in and around all the way through, up your spine, through your chakras, up to the top of your head, surrounding around, coming back down and anchoring in your heart space. Just feel that energy circulating around through you, through Mother Earth, through Spirit, feeling it come through your body, from above, from high above, back and forth. Okay. So that's our session for this week. And what I want you to do is practice your, you listen to this every day. Practice your EFT session that we just went through, and remember to do it 3 times. It's a short one, but if you do it 3 times, it kind of gets that energy set in. And you can follow the instructions when I send it to you, because I'm going to send you the phrasing as well, so you can do it when you're not online. So anyway, I thank you for joining me this week, and make sure you remember to write me and tell me what's going on. I want to hear about all the exciting, wonderful things that are happening, the shifts, the aha moments, the energy. And make sure that as you're experiencing this, when you see other people or when they see you and wonder what's happening, please let them know about this series so that they too can enjoy the wonderful changes and shifts and blessings that you are experiencing. Remember, one of the things that we've been doing in our setting our intention and in our tapping is saying that we are generous and giving and that we're sharing with others. So all of this is part of the process. As we circulate our prosperity and abundance, more comes back, and what you send out comes back multiplied. So remember that. And as you go through this week, I say light and love to you always. God bless, and thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you next week and seeing you and hearing you do more. So enjoy your week and have fun. That's a requirement. This is Lynn signing off.